The other big change was thinking about the age of onset, because previously the criteria was to have symptoms and impairment before the age of 7. And now the criteria has been changed to symptoms, but not necessarily impairment, before the age of 12. So the reason for that is because they found that the age of onset of 7 was really rather arbitrary. And in fact, people presenting with symptoms and problems from ADHD beyond the age of 7 were really no different from those who with a slightly earlier onset of symptoms. The other issue was that when if you try and make the diagnosis for the first time in adults, it's actually quite difficult, unless you have a very good informant or recorded information, to go back really to the early years, whereas you can much more reliably ascertain symptoms from about the age of 10 to 12, for example. So I think it is the case that in nearly all cases of ADHD you can reliably identify symptoms by the age of 12, and that's really why the DSM-4 went for that criteria. But you'll notice that they don't necessarily require impairment by the age of 12, and this is quite an important criteria, because it now allows patients who perhaps were very well supported during their early childhood years, if they went to a very good school, if they had very good and structured parenting, some of the problems of ADHD might be really well coped for in some way. And the problems really arise when people leave home, when they have to start doing things for themselves, and then the ADHD symptoms become much more apparent. So this broader criteria allows patients who had ADHD symptoms as a child but were well looked after, if you like, and there was reasonable control of their impairments, but now as young adults they're presenting with many of the impairments that derive from ADHD.